Week 9 fantasy football rankings. Bro, what, 9 weeks? Playoffs start in 5, bro.
Dude.
Are you prepared for the playoffs?
I'm ready. I got 2 teams that I think are going to do really well, and I got a couple teams that are like, if they make it, they make it, but I'm winning. I'm winning my Yahoo League, dude.
Yeah?
I'm fucking winning my Yahoo League. There's
Okay.
no way. I'm highest in points. I'm 5-3 because 2 of the games I lost, I was playing the other top scorer.
High score, yeah.
Dude, I'm ready.
I think all of mine, with the exception of one league that I'm in a pretty good spot. But the rest of them, like, it's gonna come down to the wire. It's like scrap season. Like, if you're a 2-3 win team, but like you see that there's like 2-3 teams ahead of you that have like the same record, oh, shit's about to go down.
Oh yeah,
Shit's about to go down. It's all good though, because we got the winning rankings and we're gonna help you guys get set up. But Twan, to be real with you, it's tough to say waiver wire guys to pick up at this point in time. Like, there's unless you're in 8 or 10 team leagues, like, there's a little bit more guys available when other dudes are making roster transactions and things like that. But there's not, like, what am I going to tell you to pick up Xavier Hutchinson? Like, you know what I mean?
You just got to be hawking. If someone has a bye week and they need to drop someone, you just got to be there to, like, be ready.
For those teams that have 7 wins already or like 6 wins and, you know, like you're in a playoff spot, like, what you should be doing, like, right now is, like, checking out, like, those playoff matchups, like, for the NFL teams. And it's like, all right, well, who has favorable matchups? Maybe I can hold this tight end to play this week. Or maybe, like, I feel really good about this defense for weeks 14, 15,
These
16,
running backs
like,
are playing the Panthers.
Yeah.
That's
No,
how it goes, yeah.
absolutely. So those are all the questions you should start having with yourself. For week 9, we have Houston and the Jets on a bye week. Honestly, like, I know the Jets have a lot of big name players, but there's not too many guys that are going to be missing the rankings this week, considering injuries and everything else.
Your bye week.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about for people's fantasy teams and things like that. But with the actual bye week, the Steelers and the 49ers, do not expect to hear any of those guys on the rankings this week. I do have a question before we get started. Before I get to the question, we should really discuss these injuries. Jordan Love again banged up. Like, that sucks. I know, like, I have him in like 2-3 leagues as my fantasy quarterback, and it's like, bro, like, the weeks, like, I think he's questionable and he's not going to play, like, this upcoming week, he puts up 34, 35 points, and then when he has a favorable matchup versus the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars, like, this dude can't put up 20 points. I'm like, bro, like, what?
If he plays this week, you play him. If he doesn't, don't.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. No. Thanks, Twan. Same thing with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, dude. If Diggs somehow walks out of
Christian
the surgery,
Kirk.
okay.
Yeah. No, Christian Kirk, Stephon Diggs, BTJ.
Yep.
All gonna miss. Well, Diggs and Kirk are gonna miss significant time. BTJ, weird injury. Didn't even see that one go down, but I know he didn't return to the game. Kind of called Drake May. Yeah. I know, but I mean, you got the win, so like,
he looks so good though, and that's the thing. It's just he's not going to be healthy. Like,
Yeah.
he's so good at football, bro.
you just don't think he's ever going to be healthy in his career because he plays for the Patriots.
No, he will be. It's just he's going to have a rough year, and then you know what? We're going to have a top pick. We're going to get an O-lineman because they do know what they're doing, right, guys?
Well, they can draft that position, but it doesn't mean that they're going to succeed at
They
that.
fucking better.
But-
I'd sell the team for an offensive lineman right now.
Also, Jordan Mason, I know he had huge fantasy implications and also gambling implications on Sunday night because I was Jordan Mason yards and a touchdown away for some money.
That's kicking the shorts.
Yeah, but honestly, like, that's why I hate betting favorites in primetime games. But I also kind of like spreading out, like, some of my, like, bigger parlays. So it's like, shit, well, now I have some action on the late night. But then I'm like, fuck, bro, it's fucking 9:30. I'm sweating this bet. The first half's about to go down. And with CeeDee Lamb. Like, dude didn't score. And then he cashes three touchdowns with 39 fantasy points. Kenny Lockett beat me with that 39 fantasy points, even from a miraculous effort from Chris Boswell. And it was like the same thing with the TJ Watt, like, sack. It was like, bro, like, I almost hammered it for a lot more, but after the first half, I was like, bro, like, are the Giants going to win this game and neutralize TJ Watt? And I was like, it's the second half, and it's the football Giants. So, like, of course that's not going to happen. So, but my question to you this week, Twan, kind of putting you on the spot here, who are some plays you're trading for right now? It's a tough conversation because, like, I know the trade deadline is looming. I feel like a guy that's kind of had a tough couple of weeks, I feel like could be really well in deeper fantasy formats. Devonta Smith. I feel like he's like a guy that is a solid 5 catches, 80 yards, and like when he gets in the touchdown, it's usually leaving like a big impact in your league. I feel really iffy about like an MHJ. So like if he's someone that you have and like maybe you feel comfortable with moving, if it's not like a keeper league or anything like that, maybe he gets like hot on the back end of the season. But then again, maybe like this past week is a good week to kind of sell him too. So couple of things, guys, I'm avoiding. I don't want anything to do with James Conner, like in that same team.
I agree.
The Steelers look okay. Like that kind of seems like an offense that you could dabble with. But being 6-2, I am expecting them to kind of have some hiccups coming up. So like consider like the team's lineups and things like that. Before I pass it to you, another guy that hasn't been performing, tremendously great. He's healthy, but at the same time, it's like, do I want to trade for this guy? I'm on Raw. Like, I don't know if, like, I would make a move for him. Like, if you have him, you're just kind of trusting that, like, he's going to have his games coming up. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough. Maybe you trade for a guy like Tucker Kraft, who's been, like, a top tight end this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tough position, though.
I like Jonathan Brooks coming back. Even though Chuba Hubbard's had a role in the offense, I do think they're going to try and incorporate the young rookie, especially with Hubbard's contract coming up. So I think you're going to see Jonathan Brooks get involved. He's a guy to target. Leggett, another guy, and I'm looking because the Panthers.
What are you naming Panthers?
Dude, I know, literally. But they traded Deontay Johnson, so like he's going to be the guy that they're throwing to. And Andy Dalton can produce an effective receiver. The counter to that is I really like Zay Flowers having Deontay Johnson on the other side of him now.
Ooh.
I think you don't like that.
I don't like it for either of them, honestly.
Ooh, I think I like it for Zay. Zay Flowers has played the on and off, like really great games, a dud. Really great games, a dud. I think he's going to smooth out a little bit more, knowing that there's another option in there. And listen, like Lamar and Zay kind of get each other now. I think it's going to take a little bit for Deontay and Lamar to get each other, but he's going to draw attention away. Trying to think of some other guys. And Njoku's like the most effective guy on that offense.
He's hot, bro.
He's hot right now.
That's a guy you want to bet. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. In another just a tight end conversation long term. This is also a decision that I have to make in one of my leagues, and it's definitely getting crucial. So a little flustered at the tight end position this week with Dallas playing against Atlanta and Kraft playing against the Lions. Who do you like as far as a tight end goes between Fergie and Kraft this week and long term? Tough. It's tough.
It is tough. I like Kraft.
Yeah? Long term or both? This week?
Like this year, long term. Like not going into a dynasty league. I'm going to go with Kraft this year. I think that he's been so effective, and I just trust the ability for the Packers to move the ball a little bit more than I do Dallas right now. And I do know that like Jake Ferguson's the number 2 option for them over there. Listen, I think they're going to start really getting tunnel vision with CD because they're really getting the pressure on him, and Ferguson's going to get involved. That's a really good question to have. But I think that Kraft has shown me enough to say, you know what, this dude's someone you need. Like,
it's just really like, well, when like Wicks has a week, it's like, well, Kraft doesn't really do shit. And it's just like, my whole thing with Fergie is like he gets like 6 catches, but he just don't get in the end zone.
He's never getting in the end zone. That's the thing. Like Dallas really struggles in the red zone, so that's the other thing I don't like.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And if you want to win by the tight end, you got to get the guy that's going to get in the end zone.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, speaking of tight end, shall we?
We shall.
All right, 10. Laporta at Green Bay. I feel like with the injury to Jameson Williams, it kind of forces this team to like work him in and implement some more plays. I mean, what he scored 2? This past week, or did one get called back for a flag? I mean, they scored so many freaking points.
I can't freaking remember.
Yeah,
they scored literally over 50.
Yeah,
so.
seriously. No, but Laporta played well on National Tight End Day. 9, another one that played well. I mean, pretty much the whole list played well with the amount of like production that was going on. But McBride going against Chicago, don't love the matchup. And I do think that Chicago defense is going to be really salty with the way everything kind of shook out. But I mean, he's just so consistent. He's way more consistent than like MHJ.
I think they beat the brakes off of Arizona this
week.
Do
you?
I do.
Interesting. 8, Auten. My guy TT upstairs asked me at the beginning of the week who I liked better, Fergie or Auten. And unfortunately, I told him Fergie. I'm like, I got to do something for you because I feel so bad. Like that, like Auten had 2 touchdowns and 8 receptions. I'm like,
he's so good.
Yeah, TT, if you can hear me doing this episode, I'm sorry, brother. But yeah, I mean, Auten looks good. I just kind of felt like it was too obvious for him to like be that much of a focal point. I guess I should have thought differently going against Atlanta versus Kansas City. I think it's going to be a tough sled for Alton.
You think so?
I do, bro.
They're giving up the most fantasy points to tight ends this year.
Bro, like, I know, but I'm just like, tell McMillan to go beat me one-on-one on the outside.
Sure.
Don't
Right.
let this dude beat
But how are
me.
you gonna do that with McDuffie covering? Like that's
No,
the thing. It's like-
I get it. Maybe Trey Palmer wakes up feeling pissed off and like he ends up
I
having
know.
like one of those days.
what's
Like,
who's the running back that they've just randomly worked in? Sean Tucker.
I have no idea. But 7, another tight end, two touchdowns. Kyle Pitts. I mean, like when he performs like that, it's just like, well, how is he not like an every week tight end? And in some leagues, like he is. Like you play Kyle Pitts and you don't question it. But in the leagues that I have Kyle Pitts, I drafted depth, and luckily that other guy worked out too. So like I'm playing matchups and shit, and I'm just like, it's so tough for me to find like ways to like play Kyle Pitts, knowing how involved Mooney is and knowing like how many balls like Drake London catches and shit like that. So it's always a tough part for me, but I mean he's always a guy in the 10 of the list. In 6, I think this guy makes his season debut and catches a touchdown on Sunday Night Football. TJ Hawkinson going against Indy. Think it's going to be a lot of points scored. Think it's going to be a great game. I do think Indy wins this one. And I want to talk about some bets for the week since we got here. So I think the Colts win. Talking to Twan about this, I think Miami and the Pats have a really good week. So if you feel a little bit more comfortable with the points, they're getting 6.5 and 3.5. I took the money lines. I showed Twan the proof. I do just kind of feel like it's that point in the season where you try and get conservative with the bets. Like then you start seeing like, oh, you get the bad weeks. When you kind of make some of like those bold picks, it pays off and it pays off well. And sometimes it only takes one bet to have a good week.
Dude, and you look at it, it's like, but don't. Here I am gonna fall into a trap, but like I really do like the Pats money line this week. I'm sure the ghost of Mike Vrabel's gonna kick us in the balls now that I said that, but it is what it is. I like
you
those
guys
bets.
could use some ghost of Mike Vrabel right
I
now.
know, bro. I'd love to have Mike Vrabel. Apparently, Mayo talking shit like made them want to play better,
Not so.
or the Jets are just that fucking bad. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which is which, but
Yeah.
Steve, I'll kick it off with 10. 10, I got Evan Ingram.
I don't have Ingram in the rankings.
There's injuries. They're gonna have to get the ball to someone. I'm gonna put Evan Ingram in there.
I think it's gonna be a bad week for Jacksonville.
You think so?
I saw 7.5 and I was a little scared earlier. Now that we've had more conversations, I'm not scared of it.
Dude,
at
I
all.
I feel weird about this week, man.
I do too.
It smells so trappy. Like, we'll see. 9, I got Tucker Kraft. So I got, after what we've said, we'll get to Jake Ferguson in a little bit. But I do have Tucker Kraft this week. I think there'll be disbursement of the rock. And if Jordan Love doesn't play, that immediately does hurt his stock. So taking care of that there. 8, I got Trey McBride. Not too dissimilar to where you had him. A little disappointing, especially if you drafted Trey McBride like the top 5 or 6 rounds. Like, a little disappointing so far.
If you're in a PPR format though, like full PPR, like you're probably comfortable with what he's giving you.
That's what he's doing. He's doing fine, but like there were better guys he could have taken later, and that's again one of those things that we talk about. At 7, Kyle Pitts, right where you had him, hit or miss weeks, but you know what? He's a guy that you got to play. Like he's going to be in this top 10 all the time because of what he can do, and the Falcons are playing better. Kirk Cousins playing better. I think the Falcons start going on a little bit of a run here. And at 6, this is where I have Jake Ferguson just before we get to the top 5. 6 catches, 50 yards, no touchdowns every week.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like all this talk about him not getting the end zone is reminding me that we just saw Kate Otten have 2 touchdowns versus the Atlanta Falcons. So.
Do we? Let's do it. That's the one.
Fergie scoring.
Fergie scoring.
Look, we're putting together a nice one. That's one of the legs.
Fergie's one of the legs, 100%. I love that.
5, we got Kraft going against Detroit. I mean, I just kind of feel like he's been too involved to not. This is going to be a really good game. And look, I actually don't mind the Sunday night game, especially hearing that Flacco's going to be at quarterback for Indianapolis. But I want to see like these division games like going against each other instead of fucking Pittsburgh and the Giants on Monday Night Football. And I like the Monday night game too, like with Tampa and Kansas City. Like I think that's another good one. I'm really shocked at like the spread. Like I get like the Bucks like are pretty banged up right now, but that's a lot of points to be.
What is it?
8.5.
Oh. Ooh. Maybe they're just thinking that Kansas City's defense is going to be what finally nullifies Baker from throwing for 300 yards.
But, I mean, like, Mahomes passes for 200 yards once in 4 weeks, and, like, they just want to give them that spread. Like, Baker's playing great ball. We'll talk about it more once we get to the quarterbacks.
I like that backdoor cover, too. Actually.
Yeah. 4. Is that another one?
Could be another. Could be another. We're literally making it up on the spot.
4 is Fergie going against Atlanta. I like it. I like the matchup.
Mhm.
I think he's been, I don't want to say uninvolved because that's counterintuitive to our conversation, but he hasn't been as impactful as I would have liked, and I think that needs to change to have some diversity in that offense. Enough of the yapping of Dalvin Cook being back too, please. Like,
James Cook's better.
yeah,
Put it that way. Mama Cook was right 3 years ago.
Yeah, right. 3, I got Njoku going against the Chargers. I actually kind of feel like it's a little bit low, but like, how can I not have Bowers and Kelsey like above him? I think it's a great matchup for Kelsey. Honestly, you probably don't have him on the rankings.
No,
but
I got it. Don't worry.
yeah.
Don't worry. I got it.
I think seeing him get in the end zone was enticing, and I think that there could be more touchdowns to come. I mean, I'm not saying like he's gonna go on a streak, but I think Kelsey to get 10+ fantasy points for the rest of the regular season isn't a tall ask, like by any means. But Bowers is at 2. I know it's not a great matchup for the tight ends, but I'm just like, who else do the Raiders have? Like, so Bowers at 2, Kelsey at 1.
Love it. Kind of. Fuck Kelsey. 5, I got Laporta. I think it's very encouraging seeing him get in the end zone. He can do a lot, and I think with what's going on with Jameson Williams, going to be out for this week and next week, I believe. It was a 2-game suspension?
2 games? Yeah, I mean, did last week count? Yeah.
I don't know if
might
last
have
week
just been
counted.
one more. I don't know. Who knows?
All right, we'll see. I think Laporta's going to get involved. I think he's going to have a good week here. I got him at 5. 4, I got Kelsey. Encouraging to see him get in the end zone. Just don't know how many targets he's going to end up getting. 3, I got Cade Otton.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Dude, I feel good about Cade Otton.
Yeah.
I think that Baker's found his guy with Evans and Godwin being out. I think he found his guy. 2, I got Njoku. Like you said, red hot, playing great ball. And at 1, I got Brock Bowers. This guy's never going to score less than 10 points. He's starting to really hit those 15 points every week. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'd love to see him get in the end zone a little bit more than like he does, which
that's
is shocking.
the struggle.
Yeah.
But he really does command a high volume of that offense.
Yeah.
I really like to see that.
I mean, as he should. And I like imagine if Flacco was in that offense, that team has 6 wins right now.
Yep, 100%.
So which is crazy to talk about. But coming over to the quarterbacks at 12 and 11, this is the Monday night matchup. It's both Baker and Mahomes. Baker at 12, Mahomes at 11. Do I think Mahomes can have a turnover on Monday Night Football? Like, I absolutely do. Do I know that, like, the world is going to be calling for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after, like, a couple of injuries and dropping a few games? I do. So I think the Bucs are going to come ready to play, and I think that they can have a lead for a point in this game. And that's kind of why, like, I feel good about 8.5 points. Like, yeah, maybe Kansas City comes back and you know, the Bucs aren't good enough through 4 quarters, but more than a touchdown. Like, I don't. Kansas City hasn't covered the spread that much this year, if I'm going to be honest.
They haven't.
With you.
They haven't. And they're winning games, but like every game, it's like it's impressive that they're 8-0, but after every game, it's like I wanted more. I wanted more.
Still a little sour in your mouth. Absolutely. 10 is Flacco. Fire him up.
I love
Fire
it.
up your Colts.
I love it. I feel disrespect. I didn't even fucking put Flacco in there. I actually think that's a wrong move by me.
Yeah, well, maybe you haven't done your rankings yet, so get to work, pal. Yeah. But no, I think Pittman's gonna have a big week. As long as he's healthy. I know Downs catches a lot of balls with Flacco in there. This is an exciting Sunday night football game. I'm happy that we're away from like the multiple primetime games, because after all the chaos at like 1 and 4, I'm definitely happy to like settle down and like watch a football game. But at the same time, I'm like, there's just a lot of great matchups going on through the NFL. So, but Flacco, I think that's a great move for that team, and I think it's the right move. And I think there's a lot to learn from just being part of the routine in the NFL for Anthony Richardson. And I love the honesty. If you want me to be real, like I think like it's great to know at 22 years old that you felt open enough to say that. But there's just so many other things that you could have said, and you just have to like know that like whatever you say as a starting quarterback in the NFL, there's only 32 of those. Like, your word is going to carry a lot, and like that's going to leave an impact on like high school kids watching, like Colts fans. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're going to go to football and they'll be like, yeah, I'm tired, I want to come out. Like,
McAfee got so pissed about that, and he made a whole thing about it. So like that's what you're going to do. Like that's what you have to expect. That's coming back. It's when it's time for you to go back in though. Now you need to perform, or you're going to be right on that hot seat.
Yeah, enough of like the 2 for 22. Like, that can't be going down.
So bad.
9. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Give me some Tua. Give me some. Yeah,
like Tua
I
like
got Tua. Yeah, I got Tua here at 9. I mean, it's only right if I have Miami winning this game that this dude has to play well. like I said, the spread is 6.5. I know the Dolphins aren't like the most sound team, but something don't sit right with me about just giving Buffalo this so easily. So I think Tyreek scores. I think Achane plays well. And we'll see what the game script is going to show. But I do like Tua in this one. 8, Captain Kirk Cousins in this one versus Dallas. I wanted to have Dak in here. I don't have Dak in the rankings. Gives me a sneaky feel that the Cowboys could win this one after Atlanta's kind of won a couple games straight and just silently been going through like their schedule. I'm staying away from like that line, and that's why I like taking props so much more, because I just feel like I can have a little bit more fun with it.
Like, I love being able to take a Ferguson touchdown at plus 175
and not have to worry about the result of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's probably like the line or like close to it.
That's
so,
what this, dude.
yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm in this shit too much.
No, but yeah, I like Cousins versus Dallas. It's definitely a favorable matchup. And 7, I mean. One, like, if you want me to go back to the waivers portion of this, like, I can't believe, like, some of the leagues that 10-team leagues that I'm still in now, this guy is still on waivers. How is Jared Goff not like 100% start rate in fantasy football? Like, this dude balls. Oh, I have him here at 7. I kind of feel like I'm disrespecting him. I just do think that, like, Green Bay's, I don't want to say a scary matchup, but where it's a division game and you're on the road and you've been playing so hot. We just know how this storyline kind of goes, especially with the Jordan Love question. But, I mean, Jared Goff deserves a spot in these rankings every single week for the rest of the season.
Love it.
Tell me you left him off.
I didn't make my rankings yet. You didn't know that?
Yo!
We'll see. I got something to say about the Lions and Packers a little bit later when we get to the running backs. But 12, I got Mahomes, pretty similar to where you had him. I actually didn't put Baker in this list. I think it could be tricky, even though I do think Cade Otton's going to have a good day.
Okay.
11. Call me crazy. Justin Herbert.
Wow. Herbert over Goff?
I didn't make my rankings.
Herbert over Flacco?
I didn't make my rankings.
Yeah.
Wait. 10's Joe Flacco.
Okay. Over who?
T-Law.
Yeah. God,
Dude,
yeah,
I don't
bro.
know what it is. I have no idea what it is. I feel so weird about Jacksonville doing some weird shit. And they're randomly... 2 games in a row now, they've started to like get the offense going and put up points. And I know they lost a couple guys. It just smells. Every time I come on this podcast and I say something smells, it ends up stinking like the cheese between my toes. It is
the Framunda cheese, kid.
Yeah, I said toast.
Yo, Twan's got a strong case of the Framunda. Pause.
Like I said, I didn't make my rankings, so at 9 is where Jared Goff is. Over Darnold. 8, I got Dak.
Wow, no Donald in the rankings. Holy shit, bro. Stanky.
You like Darnold up like that. All right. 8, I got Dak. I think he's gonna score some points this week. And then 7, I got Josh Allen.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely had Joshy boy falling a little bit more. At 6, I have Lamar. Bro, I don't like the Denver defense matchup. I don't.
I don't
For
either.
him, for Henry, I don't like it. So, like, those guys aren't one on the list this week. Boo-hoo. Like, they're not one.
They're not
you know
one.
what I mean? But, no, still a great spot here. I do think that they win the game. I do think, it's going to be close. For a portion of it. I think it could end up, like, settling itself, but... I mean, their defense just plays too good for me to think that, like, they're going to, like, run the doors. But maybe a couple defensive touchdowns change things. So, Lamar at 6. 5 is where I have Josh. Look, I think this just kind of correlates. I mean, Josh would typically be top 3.
Yep.
He's 5. Like, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah,
So
tricky game.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. 4, Sam Darnold. Sunday Night Football, Indy, bright lights, all the pressure, drop 2 straight. Oh, JJ in hockey. They're gonna be cooking.
I hate my quarterback rankings right now.
Yeah,
like I
bro,
really don't.
I don't know.
I like the top 6 a lot. I don't like my
back end.
Yeah, 65.
I wish you spent more time on it. If you feel that way right now, I wish.
Dude,
you
I
spent
just
more time
I don't. It's not the Justin Herbert thing I don't like. It's like the.
But that impacts it.
It does. It does impact. But that. Listen, I gotta throw a couple spicy ones in here, man. I can't be with the fucking projection rates.
3, 3, I got Burrow. The Bengals haven't won a game at home this year, which is really strange to me, honestly. But how could they lose to the Raiders at home? Like, I saw a 7.5-point spread. Jamar Chase gets in the end zone. If T. Higgins is back this week, he plays well. Chase Brown has really kind of been like a saving grace for some fantasy teams if you drafted a running back late. I mean, Zach Moss started so hot, and then it just, like, flipped the script. And, I mean, I stashed Chase Brown in a lot of my leagues. Like, in the league, I'm in my work league, I'm in first place. I have Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown.
Love that.
Yeah.
That is
electric.
insane.
Absolutely
Bro,
electric.
Kenneth Walker, the way he dropped in that draft.
Oh,
we
my
can
God.
talk about it all day,
Yeah,
though.
absolutely. 2, Jaden Daniels going against the Giants. I wish I could say otherwise. I can't. I hope the Giants beat them. Don't see it happening. And 1, stop taking touchdowns from my guy Saquon, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be Jalen Hurts, and every single time we recognize him as such to go with you from under cheese.
Done.
Yeah, it is.
Done.
It is.
Stinks.
So, like, if it's... Kid, you need some crackers with that stank.
Where's the baby powder?
Buddy, you need some peroxide. I still think, like, they can have a good offensive day, but, I mean, I don't know if he scores 2 touchdowns again, honestly.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because I actually have Jalen Hurts at 1, too, so spoiler. Yeah. But I got 6. I got Geno. Bounce back. They're bouncing back this week.
I wanted to have him in here so bad, but I didn't because I'm like, bro, the Rams were 3-5 last year or whatever the case was and went on a prolific run. And
I'm like, don't think their defense is going to be the way to do it.
I get it. I just feel like Seattle's had easier layups to take care of, and they haven't.
I know, but that's Seattle coming off a bad L like that. I really like. I thought they should have went in there and beaten Buffalo. They didn't, and I think they're going to go smack LA. So maybe they won't, but for now they are. 5, I got Kirk. I think Kirk eats. I think Kirk is playing so much better than he did at the beginning of the season. He's getting comfortable with the roster, and he is gunslinging, and he's not really turning the ball over right now either.
I was just going to say, the past 3 games, he did leave each game with a turnover, but it wasn't like a loud or like a costly one. It was like a stupid-ass mistake.
And that's the thing. That's what I want to see, and then yesterday he didn't have a turnover.
No. Lit it up.
No. And, he just killed the Bucs twice in a row, bro. They have to be so pissed about that.
Yeah.
4, I got Burrow. This guy's going to eat against the Raiders. 3, I got Lamar. It's Denver. I get it. It's tricky. But Lamar is just, you're going to incorporate 50 yards into that anyway. So it's going to be an extra 5 points there. 2, I got Jaden Daniels. 1, I got Jalen Hurts. We're pretty close up top.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not waste any time. Let's get over to the running back.
Let's do receivers first. I think the running back list is deeper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You really want to switch up the mojo like that?
Are you dying to go receivers?
No.
Let's switch it up. Let's switch it up. Let's go receivers.
Switch it up. All right, receivers first. Still no change in injury designation, so at this point I do have to say JSN here at 20.
Okay.
This would be a very easy transition. If DK does play, regardless of how he's feeling, like he would automatically get inserted in here.
I will say Mike McDonald said that it's looking encouraging today.
Yeah, I mean, and if that's the case, then I'm more encouraged that Seattle can play better in that game. I actually feel like some running backs are with offenses and things like that, and they just kind of keep things going. That's how I feel like DK is with that offense, and I feel like that team wins a lot more games when DK plays and plays well. But I do have JSN here at 20 and 19. Welcome to the list for the first time this year, D-Hop. Clap it up for D-Hop. In here at 19, going against Tampa Bay. I mean, their secondary can't stop a nosebleed. So I definitely think that after having a couple weeks, I think D-Hop can be a little bit more acclimated. 18, I have Shakir. Look, I don't want to say he's the number one guy, but he just is so efficient in that offense. And whenever there's a tough matchup for that Buffalo team, I feel like he's going to be the difference maker.
He does. He plays well in the tough moments. And that's Josh Allen's boy right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a little disappointed with Kincaid. I'm not going to lie.
I agree.
I know he caught a touchdown. National Tight Ends Day. Mm-hmm. Gotta show. Yep, clap it up. National Tight Ends. We won some money on National Tight End Day.
Thank you, George Kittle.
Yeah. Thank you, George Kittle.
What a beautiful human, dude.
Oh my God, tremendous head of hair.
I almost put him in the list, even though he had a bye week.
Oh, that would have been great. 17. I got Pittman. I'm firing up Pittman this week. I really love the matchup. Sunday Night Football. Flacco's gonna spread the ball out to these boys. At 16, I want to talk about spreading out. It's not that from under. It's Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison was a little frustrated. Went to social media. Honestly, after you hear those guys, usually pretty outlandish on that. Somehow targets just seem to go their way the next week. It's so
happens,
weird.
Right?
So,
you bitch and you get what you want.
Yeah, I don't get it. And, I do like Aaron Jones to score, especially versus the Colts, but I will probably take an alternate line on Addison's yards this week, knowing the way everything's going down.
Let's add that in. That's
Yeah?
in the parlay.
Yeah?
I'll do an alternate line.
Wow.
What do you think? 50 plus?
Yeah. We're checking off some boxes.
We're checking off some. I thought you say throw Jones touchdown in there too.
I hate doing, in parlays like that, I hate doing multiple legs from the same game.
Okay.
I do. It's something.
What do you like more? The Addison or the Jones touchdown?
I think I like the Jones touchdown.
I think so. Okay, so good. And that'll be better odds.
So wait. Jones and Fergie right now.
Jones and Fergie touchdown, and then we had
We'll come back.
We'll come back. Yeah, before I kill a fucking 5 minutes
right.
thinking about it.
15. Reed going against Detroit. I think Detroit's been pretty susceptible to wide receivers. I know he hasn't played well, and if Malik Willis is at quarterback, I feel a little bit less great about this. But knowing Jordan Love, it's going to be a bunch of DNPs throughout the week, and Sunday he'll just be feeling great. He'll get shot up with some shit right in his crotch, and he'll be all set.
His from under's going, dude. That's the theme of the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I'm sorry if there's anyone under 10 years old watching this podcast right now. You don't need to know what that cheese is. At 14, TJ Moore going against Arizona. He's been quiet the past couple of weeks. I think he gets in the end zone. It's crazy. Since Keenan Allen's been healthy, I actually don't think he's gone in the end zone. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that Keenan Allen's made a tremendous impact. Just when the Bears play on the road, they just don't really play as well, especially on offense.
They're just banking on their defense to try and win them games.
Absolutely. 13, I got Devonta going against Jacksonville. I mean, if AJ somehow gets locked up by somebody on that defense, which I don't think is going to happen, I definitely think that Devonta Smith is going to have a great day. So I think his receptions are going to be pretty solid, depending on what the line's at. When it's 5.5, it's tough for me because I'm like my whole thing is you're going to cover a spread by 0.5 point. I'm just supposed to feel confident about that. So it's like the same thing when it comes to NBA and taking some prop bets on that. I hate when guys are getting like SGA's over under on points is always 30. I'm like, bro, if he's going to cover it, he's going to cover it with 33. I'm like, am I really going to bet that? So I just we'll go to somebody else, maybe somebody's assist or some shit like that. But we can't be talking about an NBA and the wide receiver portion of the fantasy rankings. At 12, I have Olave. Just feel like it's time to fire up the Saints. I do think that Derek Carr should be coming back. They've had such... I mean, this is a team that started 2-0, putting up 100 points in 2 games. And, let's keep in mind, this is one of the teams that they did put that up against. And I haven't been told that Bryce Young is coming out of the lineup. I know you mentioned Andy Dalton earlier. I know that there's no clear indication, and I guess it really doesn't fucking matter who's at quarterback for them. I don't think that the Saints are going to put up 50. I think Kamara and Olave can play well, especially if Carr's back in the lineup. 11, guy hasn't played that great, hasn't been producing so much in fantasy football, but this is where I have Amon-Ra St. Brown here at 11. Jair does have a questionable tag. I know he left the game, but I mean, he's been pretty verbal when he's played at home. We saw what happened to Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell a couple weeks ago. This game is back in Green Bay, and I know that's always, a positive thing for the Packers. So, Amon-Ra plays really well, when it's those dome games and, he's going up to Minnesota or he's back home. So I don't like taking prop bets on Amon-Ra when he plays in outdoor fields. I know it's really weird, but I just kind of feel like he's more effective and efficient, and we see that when he plays at home often. So
I like that. By the way, you're going to freak out when you get to my 11, but you'll understand when you get to my 6. So
A.J. Brown's at 11, Devonta's at 6.
Fuck. Spoiler.
You just gave it away, pal.
Nice. I didn't think it would be that easy.
Yeah.
I thought you'd come up with something different. Oh, DK and JSN. No.
I do this, pal.
I know, bro. You know how I think now. It's ridiculous. 20, you got
rent free, Papa.
I know, dude. I'm fucking... At 20, I'm going MHJ. It's been difficult. They have a little bit of a tricky matchup, but I do think he's the best player on that team, and I'm going to put him in these rankings this week. I'm going to go MHJ at 20.
Yeah, you'll give him the best player on the team over Buddha?
On the offense.
Okay, fair enough.
On the offense, that's what I meant. Fantasy value, he's the best player.
Yeah.
20 MHJ, 19, he's picking it up. Herbert's finding him. Lad McConkey, 19. Really like the way he played last week, and I think he's going to carry it over this week. 18. The receiver that I think goes off for the Green Bay Packers this week is not Jaden Reed. It could be, but he fucked me 2 weeks in a row in parlays. So this week, it's Romeo Doubs.
He did get me last week, too. You saw that
Yep.
from a pretty... Those two legs, I'm pretty sure would have got me like close to 300-400. Like, yeah.
There you go. Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
Fuck you right now. Even though we're not playing him in the fantasy lineup this week. I'm done.
Yeah.
I got McLaurin that I can play over
I'm
him.
start him this week.
I got Josh Downs. I can play him over him.
Yeah,
Like I got other
yeah.
guys that I can scoot in this week.
Yeah.
And Josh Downs is the guy that didn't make my rankings, but he's a guy you should be circling. He's in the flex this week.
Is Addison in your rankings?
Addison's not in my rankings, but I do like that I still like him to play well. It's just I have a big emphasis on Aaron Jones.
All good.
17, JSN. Great
Same
player.
thing.
Think he's going to get very involved. 16, Sutton. I'm going to
Wow. I know the Ravens secondary, but
It is the Ravens secondary, and listen, dude. Like Bo Nix is playing better. I think he's hit where as good as he's going to get like last week, but I think he'll be able to get the ball to Courtland Sutton a lot. And I do think that while their defense is going to be so good that it's going to be tricky for the Ravens, at some point the Ravens will pull away a little bit, and they're going to have to throw the football, and he'll have a little bit of success going to Courtland Sutton. 15, I got Zay Flowers. So again, same game, a little bit different. He'll get the PS2 treatment, but I think he's going to make some plays behind the line of scrimmage. I think they're going to get him the ball in the reverse a little bit. They're going to do some fun stuff with Zay Flowers this week to try and expose a very difficult defense.
Or tight ends, actually.
No tight ends in there either. 14, Tank Dell. He's the only guy out in their offense. I think he's going to play pretty well this week, and I think they have to look at a little bit more impressive than they have. But Thursday game, I get it. 13, I got DJ Moore. I'm right there with you. I think it's time. DJ Moore might be a guy to look for the bet. Maybe an alternate receiving yards or something.
I was gonna say, I'll take the yards. I don't want the touchdown, but he
don't-
also is kind of like the past couple games. Like I've seen him pop up on red zone, like injuries, like kind of crazy. Like it's not been nothing long term, but definitely something that we want to.
Yeah, he might not be fully healthy, but we'll keep an eye on that. That's a good one to look
It's a
out for.
It's a tabber.
12. I do have DK Metcalf in here. I do feel confident if Mike McDonald feels confident that he's going to go in, and they really need to win this game.
He was
I think
close
they'll do
last
everything
week.
they
Yeah.
can. And that's the thing. I think they really need to win this game bad, or they're going to do everything they can, and I think he can eat on this Rams defense. And 11, you said it. I got A.J. Brown.
All right. At 10, Drake London going against Dallas. Hasn't been in the end zone the past couple weeks. I'll be taking him to score, especially versus that poor-ass secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that the Dallas Cowboys are so freaking bad.
They're so bad. Dude.
9, Terry McLaurin going against the Giants. Well, you want to talk about another bad team? It's the Giants at home. They haven't won a game yet this year. Imagine your home field. Your fans pay all that money to come and see you, and you suck at it. You literally didn't score a touchdown the last week. So, I mean, I know you feel my pain a little bit, but you guys won this week. So,
Listen, we beat a division rival. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys right now have more wins than us, no?
We have 2.
2? All right, so we're tied.
We're tied.
Braggable right there.
Listen, you keep winning games. We'll keep losing them. I need that pick.
Yeah. 8, Malik Neighbors going against Washington. He should have scored this last week. He's going to score versus Washington. Daniel Jones mysteriously plays well versus Washington. I know we just lost by a field goal to them the last time. I don't have the balls to bet the Giants this week, but
I might.
Yeah?
I might have the balls to do it. I've been thinking about it all week.
Is that a leg?
That could be a leg.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, don't tease me with the Giants.
Yeah.
We can take the points.
Why are
and
you
be
blushing
safe.
right now?
Yeah. 7-6. Can't separate them. Don't think it's going to go that way long term, but this is the Rams receivers. Cup at 7 and Nakua at 6. I mean, if they're going to play that well, it don't matter who it is, because they're both going to just perform. But going against Seattle, I mean, I know Seattle has the secondary if there's anybody. But, I mean, with Nakua, Cup, and Kyron, there's just too much star power to, really cover them. And it's just bro, you can put any single one of those wide receivers isolated on the side. Whoever's on the single coverage, if you put Cup in, the slot on the top by himself, he's going to win an out route every single time. And if you put Nakua on the outside by himself to the right side, he'll run a slant and just be bigger than you every single time.
He's going to win the contested catches. Cup's going to be the one that gets separation.
Yes, absolutely. So I just, if I was them, I would be living with that.
Mm-hmm.
5, Tyreek Hill going against Buffalo. I think he scores. I know last week we thought he was going to get one of those long ones, especially versus that secondary. I know it's going to be a lot tougher going against Buffalo, but I think it happens. Look, Tua and Tyreek are due. And I honestly just think this is the week to do it. And I don't want to say that you can't write them off, Miami, because I don't think they're going to win the division. They probably wouldn't even be close. But a wild card with the way that the AFC is, very, very, very possible.
Nah, dude.
No?
Fuck Miami.
Bro,
I don't think
like
they're good.
the Colts, like they can be better than the Colts.
I think the Colts are better than them.
No,
I really don't think Miami's that good. I don't think too much about them.
The injuries suck. Like
And
Chubb,
Tua's
Chubb
a
and
gust
Phillips.
of wind away from being out again.
A
Like,
gust
I
of
just
wind.
can't.
Do you hear everybody clapping for him and cheering as loud as hell when he slid the other day?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the cheers didn't give him a concussion.
Yeah. 4, I got Jamar Chase, locked him in for a touchdown already. It was, besides Thursday, it was the only other game that was offering a touchdown. And, I mean, going against the Raiders, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
God, yeah.
3, CD going against Atlanta. I mean, CD might just be force-fed the rest of the season. 2, I have AJ, not concerned about it. Didn't score this past week. He will score this week. I'm sorry, your rankings won't dictate the truth.
No, listen, he might score this week. Devonta Smith scored twice.
2, yeah. 1 is JJ, of course, Sunday Night Football, Indy.
Love it. 10, I got Tyreek. I need to see it before I'm giving him top 5 again. 9, I got Garrett Wilson. I just think he's going to be the guy over Devontae Adams. I know that Aaron Rodgers likes Devontae Adams a lot, but the only thing that's Devontae Adams is really benefiting right now is Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
8, I got Terry McLaurin. Think he's going to eat this week, have a good one. He didn't play too well against the Giants last time. He was very mediocre, but I think he'll play well this time. 7, I got Puka Nacua. 6, I got Devonta Smith. 5, I got Jamar Chase. 4, I got Malik Neighbors. I think Malik's going to have a very, very good game this week.
Oh, Malik was the other guy for the touchdown.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Drake London, 3. Big week coming over that bum-ass team in Dallas. But CD's going to have a better week.
We can take some Drake London props.
I like that. CD for number 2 and Jay Jettas at number 1. I mean, he's the best receiver in the league.
Absolutely. Running backs. 20, and you want to talk about guys that had great performances last week. I got Josh Jacobs here going against Detroit. I mean, this is a guy, I think, like, the touchdown production is just kind of what makes him more to, like, the back end of this list. Like, I really think it's a pretty congested list this week. 19, Pollard going against New England, and 18, Stevenson going against Tennessee. Like both of those guys, if the Patriots are going to win, Ramondre is going to score. If that's how I'm feeling, we can talk about some Ramondre stuff. 17, Hubbard going against New Orleans. Chuba, I'd love to say, like, he's going to do well. Like, this is a game, like, I don't even want any props in. Like,
I don't want anything to do with this game, dude.
And maybe give me a couple of groupie field goals, but, like, other than that, I don't want anything.
I'll take a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, max on punts. Like.
16, I got Chase Brown. I think, like, we've kind of seen, like, he's kind of solidified that backfield, whether it's catching or receiving. Like, he's the guy to have there. 15, this is a little bit low, but JT went off last week. I think this is a week for the receivers for them. Do I think he can punch a goal line touchdown in? Absolutely. Do I think, like, there can be a long touchdown to Josh Downs and, like, a couple of plays to Pittman in the red zone? I absolutely do. 14, B-Rob, favorable matchup versus the Giants. Been a couple weeks since he's gotten in the end zone. He's due. Giants, the team to do that against. 13, Kareem Hunt is a lock for a touchdown every single week. I say that now, and he's not going to score because Vita Vea is going to be eating sandwiches in the middle to stop him. 12, I got Swift. Swift's kind of been a fantasy sleeper, if you want me to be honest with you. I know he started off the year really cold, and we were kind of pumping our chest about that, but a couple 20-point performances got him up there at those running back rankings for sure. 11, and I'm going to do 11 and 10 together just because it's only right. You can't separate Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah. Sonic and Knuckles here, nice. Monty at 10 and Gibbs at 11. I always just kind of preface Monty like the position above because I feel like Detroit's offense doesn't open up until they get Monty in the end zone. But I actually feel like this could be a really good week for Gibbs.
I think so too. And I mean, the past 2 weeks have been kind of Gibbs' week, so Gibbs has been balling. 20, you got J.K. Dobbins. think he's played really, really good this season. I'm going to put him in there because I just like the ability for him to get a touchdown when they're on the goal line. He's super good. Rashad White, I'm going to put at 19. I think if you want to start producing against the Chiefs, you're going to have to throw the ball to the running backs and the tight ends, and I think that Rashad White can get involved in the receiving game.
2 weeks in a row, touchdowns.
Yep, and that's what I like to see. 18, you're going to love it. Tyrone Tracy here at 18.
Bro, I almost did it. He's in the protocol right now, though, so I stood away.
You stood away? Okay.
Yeah, concussion protocol.
We'll see. If he plays, dude, I think he's going to play well. I think
if he plays, he'll score.
Yeah, I think so, too. So that's something we should keep an eye out on later in the week. 17, Jonathan Taylor. I feel you. Like, I kind of feel you. I just think that there's going to be some receivers getting involved. It's going to be a close game. I don't really know how to approach it other than points.
Yeah.
16, I got Breece Hall. Dude, he just hasn't impressed me as much as I'd like to see.
No,
consistently, he's not doing it. I don't hate that you don't have him in there.
Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, Thursday, right.
So no Mixon.
15, I got Brian Robinson, very close to where you had him. He's, playing the Giants. He's probably going to play pretty well. Sorry.
Yeah.
It is what it is. 14, DeAndre Swift. I'm right there with you. Again, gung-ho about him being so shit, but here he is. He had another, 120-yard game last week and a touchdown, so great work out of him. 13, Kareem Hunt, exactly where you had him. 12, I might get shot. Derrick Henry's here at 12. Ooh. I think they really struggle to run this football through the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any
if anyone, Justice Hill might have a little bit of a crazy game.
Yeah, these are the matchups that Justice Hill does really well, and if you want to look at a receiving line for that, like we can definitely talk about it when it comes out. Yeah,
I like that too.
No, absolutely. Like this gives me like the 2 weeks ago like bad taste in my mouth when I cashed out the Derrick Henry prop, and then he caught a red zone touchdown. Like that's probably happened for the first time in the last 4 years that he caught one.
10 or 11 before I kick it back over to you. Yeah. Got James Cook. I just don't like the usage rate that he gets all the time. Even though last week wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But it's not consistent enough for me.
No, I mean, I feel you. I have James Cook right here at 9. Going against Miami, I mean, I think, like, if he was to get 16 carries, I would feel confident that he would be a top 5 guy every single week. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's weeks where he legit just gets, like, 14 touches total. And I'm like, how? Like, he plays so many snaps, too. It's just like, how do you – and, like, look, they have a very diverse offense. You got to spread the ball out. But I'm just like –
I think they're still trying to figure out what their favorite stuff is. Like, I think they know what James Cook is. I think they really want to push Shakir and some of these other guys like Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel, see where these guys play.
Yeah, absolutely. 8, I got Aaron Jones. Like, I actually feel like this could be a little bit low. Like, I have D-Hen lower on the rankings this week. Not 12 because, like, I just think that's pretty disrespectful. No, I get you. I dropped him. I dropped D-Hen to 6. So, like, he's a big enough name, and where his projections are going to lie, like, this dude's going to be projected 18 every single week no matter who he's playing. And I get it because all it takes is one run. 80 yards and a touchdown's, 14 points?
Yep.
So, like, I totally understand, but Denver's defense is real stingy, very, very stingy, and we just kind of saw the Ravens play like that similar type of matchup versus the Browns. But I know I'm bouncing around a little bit. 7 is where I have Achane do with Tua in the lineup. He's just like a drastically different player. I thought it was a little strange. He got the Guardian cap on and Tua don't, but I'm like, you know what, like, whatever gets you playing productive. So, honestly, love his rushing and receiving line. I'll probably take that at, like, 75.
I like that for a little parlay.
So we can. Hey, we might have a couple of parlays.
We might have a couple of bunch.
But no, Achane plays really well. 6 is D-Hen. I talked about that. Not going to elaborate too much. Kamaro will find the end zone going against Carolina. I know it's a road one, and I'm interested to see what the weather conditions are like because that could really impact a game in Carolina. 4, Saquon going against Jacksonville might be too low. I think Saquon is due for an end zone trip after not seeing it since the Giants game. 3, I got Bijan. I'll take the rushing and receiving line at 100. He'll probably go for like 125, and that 25 will be comfortable. I just don't think that there's anybody on Dallas's defense that's as good as Bijan as a running back, and he exploits that matchup no matter who the team is. Mm-hmm. 2, I got Kenny Walker going against L.A. Was expecting an end zone trip, didn't get it. Think him and Kyron, who I have at 2 and 1, are both due for the end zone. And look, the thing with this Seattle Rams game is, look, this is either going to be like your highest scoring game of the entire week, or there's going to be absolutely no points scored, and it's going to be like a bloodbath. So there's no in between there. I'm siding on the side of points because why wouldn't we? It's fantasy football.
I know, we're dying for it.
Yeah,
dude.
But at the same time, I don't know. I think it could be some tough sledding. But these guys are my 2-1, so like it just goes to show you what I think it's gonna go down.
How do you feel about Ogier, like 25 plus rushing yards?
Yeah, I feel good, but I do kind of feel like that they alternated that line a little bit. I mean, 25. I was taking that and the Mooney receptions for like weeks straight, but like they put it up to like 35, and like I still feel pretty good about that. But I'm like,
especially against Dallas. Dude.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk.
10-9. David and Gibbs, David
and
Montgomery,
Njoku, yeah.
and Jameer Gibbs.
Sonic and Knuckles, come on.
Sonic and Knuckles, yeah. I think they're just gonna have a lot of success this week, and I think both of them are gonna be looking at over 15. 8, I got Aaron Jones exactly where you had him. I really wanted to put him higher, but I'm looking and I'm seeing
great matchups.
Great matchups, dude. Joe Mixon's gonna have a really good matchup this week, and they're gonna have to run the team through him. Achane at 6, Kamara at 5. Kyron at 4, Kenneth Walker at 3, points.
Absolutely.
Saquon at 2, gets in the end zone. Bijan Robinson, 2 touchdowns this week.
Wow. Yeah.
This is the one.
We could talk about some yards. I don't want to talk 2 touchdowns.
Okay, that's just gonna be a me bet.
Yeah.
I always every week I have a 2 touchdown
one touchdown guy. Yeah. 2 touchdown guy. You
Yep.
got me. I do like what I'll do is like for some cheap money, like I'll put like 2 guys and like I'll just put them together because I'm like, no matter who it is, like if you guess 2 touchdowns, like it's pretty good. For some of the weeks where like D-Hen didn't have a favorable line, I would take 2 or like first. I hate taking first touchdown because I'm like, bro, every single time I take first, the guys threw a second, like every single time. So like that's honestly a prop that like I never take. I
just got lucky with that last
Yeah.
night.
No,
there should have been other touchdowns in that game before.
Sick. That was a Calvin Austin first touchdown. And what's even more strange is like if you had defensive special teams first touchdown, that would have hit too.
I know. I almost did that too.
Bro, imagine you whacked both.
Wait,
do you think that if Calvin Austin scored the defensive special teams touchdown, that 2 first touchdown scorers would cash? It would have to, right?
We got to call up Kalish to find that out.
Yeah.
I don't think DK wants to pay that one out. I think
I
they're like, listen, you get one.
I think Kalish lost my line. He's fine with just taking my money for now. Oh man, but no, this was a good rankings week. Still decent amount of time, but you guys got power rankings, basketball, and fantasy rankings coming up. Thanksgiving trivia is in the works, and Twan's also ducking out on that. So please give him some hate in the comments.
I can't have Lou and Dant beating my ass again. I'm gonna go get fucking beat up by a couple of beers in South Carolina.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say no. Never mind.
No, come on now. Come on now. Just steer them away with my stinky Fermunda.
Yeah. My God, but guys, this was a fun one. This was another good week. Fantasy rankings, fantasy playoffs are right around the corner, and make sure you guys are gathering your canned goods. You're coming to hang out November 16th. Since I don't have a co-host that night, we're gonna need some help drawing up some touchdown parlays for Sunday, and we can do that all together while we're making an impact on the community. But you guys know the deal. Peace, love, 5 stars, nothing less.